So if you are just getting involved in Palworld, I'm going to be showing you what the best pals are to be getting early on in the game. So once you've kind of built a base, this is very much a basic base. There's nothing too crazy going on. We are going to be setting foot into making a more advanced base very soon, because once you kind of get your level up your base, you should be able to then make a number of 2 bases. Once then, you can keep going and going and going. So once you're at that level, that's perfect. But who are the best pals to get in there? So as you can see, we've got, at the moment, we've got, what, that's that? 8 pals in there currently. No, 10 pals in there currently. Can't count. And all of them have specific roles. So if you go into your start and go into your pal decks, if you've started collecting pals, you've started capturing a few, really you got to find kind of these first 3 at the very, very start. So as you can see on the map, I've kind of just stayed around here because I'm trying to perfect what I'm looking for. And you can see you've got your little bosses going on as well. We've got the Mammarist here as well as the Chillet that we managed to get. But we can get stuff a lot quicker. So the first one that you're going to be looking at, and if we go into the POW decks, what you can see on the left-hand, or on the right-hand side, is the work suitability. So we have kindling, planting, handiwork, lumbering, medicine, transporting, watering, electricity, gathering, mining, cooling, farming. So what you get from this is different levels. So as you kind of progress, you will get better levels, but this is a base stat. So this is kind of something we want to start with, because naturally, as we progress, we're going to get better. And kind of, as you can see, as you go further down, you will find some pets, or pals, in fact, that do have multiple. For instance, this little thing has got a few different things. That is going to be perfect for a more advanced base. We're just looking for predominantly 1 or 2. We need a kind of base. Once you've kind of got level 2, 3, and 4 out of the way, you should be able to have like, what, 4 pals in there. That is going to be good enough, because the main attributes that you want to be finding is going to be the logging. You want the mining. You do want, to be fair, this one is very good in the kindling as well. And then really transporting. They're the only things you actually need to start with your base, until you then get into a lot more kind of advanced stuff. So the perfect first one is going to be Lamble. Brilliant transporter, handiworks there as well, very, very quick to find. Predominantly, you will find Lamble, if you start around here, you will find most of the time literally around here. It's a very, very common pal that you should find very early on. Then the next one, Cativa, beautiful. Mining, transporting, and handiwork, as well as gathering. But the mining is what we're going to be looking at the start. As you can see, we've got a few of them over here, which is going to be collecting a lot of my stone. And as you can see, they're doing a pretty good job. And also, when it comes to plantation, there is quite a few that do the berries as well. So there's kind of that big bonus between all of them there. We then move on because we need someone from logging. So logging's a little bit of a harder one, because you've got to find something that does it. So I have found Lifmunk as one of the great ones, but then also another one that is probably around like your level 10 sort of pal. You can find them very easily, and if I can find them on here, it is going to be the deer. Again, another great one, because if you wanted a mounted Pokemon, that is going to be perfect as well. They are a little bit harder to catch. Not necessarily the hardest in the world, but definitely does take a little bit more compared to the starter ones. But level 2 in the lumbering is absolutely perfect, and if you can get them very early on, you can use a mount for them as well. As you can see, we've got one here and then one down here. So for instance, if I was to try and take out a Lamble, I would whack her in. They would go straight over to the lumbering normally, as that predominantly... we've got a raid. Are you looking for gift cards, game keys, and more? Head over to U7Buy for a variety of cards you can get today. From PSN, Steam, all the way to Xbox. With huge amounts of price variations. Check the link in the description for cheap, reliable digital cards for you right now. Wow, that was exciting. Honestly, I didn't even see it pop up on the screen. But if we carry on with the video, that might help. You will then have, obviously, the lumbering. As you can see, they've gone straight over to there. If you did want to go for someone a little bit less of a profile, maybe you're not too fussed about the mountain to start with, we did find, obviously, Tansy has got the lumbering as well. Planting, handiwork, gathering, again, can be found pretty much early on. A lot of these pals can be found around here, and Tansy is just a little bit further past this point, and you can find quite a few down here. So, again, very, very quick to find. I'm talking like level 5. You've just got to kind of navigate your way through, and that's going to give you then the lumbering, the mining, the transport, transporting. Then you can see this little fox thing as well is going to be perfect for baking berries and also making ingot. So again, you'll find this very, very early on. She is number... Fox Parks, you got to be number 5, and it is kindling. So again, it's pretty self-explanatory. Because she is a fire fox, you will get that perfect requirement. So she is going to be the number 4 in this list. And there's only really then for basic POW bases another one to go for, and that, well, actually technically there's 2. So we will carry on with that. But then we have Gumos. Gumos is brilliant for planting, so I believe if I kind of go through, you have got that with Tansy, but they will obviously do a few different jobs. So if you wanted to split the jobs, then naturally you want to go with Gumos, who again is very, very early to find because they just do the planting. So as you'll see, predominantly we will see him over here, and he will be doing a lot of the planting. And then we have the final pal, which is going to be this little baby. So Penglit is going to be cooling, watering, transporting, and handiwork. So that is going to be a fantastic one to round off everything. The big thing, I think, when it comes to the multiple work sustainabilities is having multiple of the different suit abilities. And as we kind of go forward with this, I will kind of do a more advanced list, kind of going into your medium and then into your high, because as you can tell, I haven't necessarily done loads in the game. I've managed to kind of just start with the basics and really learn what works well. As we see as well with Lamble, we can get this wool over here, which is going to be great for cloth. She will drop it and then naturally bring it back over as well. So it's kind of a win-win there. But you do find certain powers that I believe, I can't remember which one it is, but they will go into this barn or this, what is it called again? This, let's find out what it's called. It's a ranch, I knew that word there, and you will get POW spheres from it. So I will make a video on unlimited POW spheres, as that is going to be a big bonus into actually getting a lot more POWs in there. The big thing when it comes to it as well, as you upgrade your base, you can put multiple. So if you are really happy with maybe having a lot of mining and a lot of lumbering, then you can just double up on your stuff. The one thing I would suggest, if you are, for instance, getting somebody like the deer who is only lumbering, make sure you have something that is transported as well. Otherwise, it will stay there. And the problem you have with that is, for instance, if I was to pick up 824 stone right now, I wouldn't be able to move because of the weight. Yes, you can half it and move it yourself, but it just is a big problem when it comes to it. So I would say you could get away with a very, very starter base with literally some of the very early POW decks in here. So you could go with 1, 2... The chicken's probably not going to get there. You can get gathering, but it's not happening. You could go with 4, so 1, 2, 4, 5. Did I even say that one? I suppose, to be fair, they do have quite a bit. This one is a little bit further. So we go 1, 2, 5, 8, and 10. And then 13 if you wanted to split it. But realistically, you could go with them first 4 and be absolutely happy to start with and grind out from there. Once you kind of go a bit further, you will find a lot more POWs that do have different kind of extra bonuses. We find some that are just watering. You'll find some gathering and farming. And as you'll find some transporting as well. But the further you go down in the POW decks, you will find a lot better. So for instance, when we look at obviously Chillet, gathering and cooling, but then you go further down, like we said, we've got one here. Unfortunately, we don't actually have it catch, so you won't know the work sustainability until you actually get it in there. And then you have some big stuff, which most definitely takes up a lot of the room. But that's going to be the best POWs you can get at a very, very beginner basis. I'll join you back once we are into more of an advanced base. I'll catch you all for the next one, and take care.